Welcome to this edition of Chief Chat. This is a very important time for me. I am finally getting to sit before two people in my beginning in the fire service, even though it was y'all's prime in the fire service and public service, to talk about what I believe is one of the most profound success stories in North Louisiana. So joining me today is Miss Jean Durkee, who is a past state representative for the state of Louisiana, and Mr. Arl Macham, who in fact is probably one of the pioneers of the North Louisiana Fire Service. So what we want to talk about today is what we have today in the Pine Country Training Center, where we train firefighters at Camp Minden here in North Louisiana, as an extension of the LSU Fire and Emergency Training Program.
Well, we're basically a smaller version of our main campus in Baton Rouge. So we do municipal fire training with local fire departments. We teach drill night classes during the week. We teach mini schools on the weekend. We teach 40-hour, 80-hour classes for paid firefighters. We teach industrial firefighting for local refineries and places like that also.
So tell me, I guess, in this vision to build this training center for North Louisiana, let's remind everyone, I guess, of how this site at Camp Minden was selected, and certainly it was a fight to get it happening here.
And I threw a proposal down on the desk, which was formulated through Gene and VJ and Carol, police jury, and all of the equipment and infrastructure out here at the ordnance plant, which I still call it the ordnance plant, but Camp Minden. And we had wonderful help from the National Guard, Carl Thompson, General Landreneau, all of those people were great to help us to obtain the 30-acre field over here where the fire training facility is, and this building and two more. We were fortunate to get those buildings because we didn't have to build them. We had to remodel them, but we didn't have to build anything.
Mm-hmm. We do classroom training here in our main building. We have 3 classrooms, an EMS classroom and 2 other small, one large classroom. We have a 30-acre fire training facility field where we have locker room facilities and burn props. Whether it be structure, multi-story, tower, industrial props, things like that. We also have a 50,000 square foot indoor facility where we do all of our maintenance work, warehouse, and also a large indoor training facility where we do maze work, we do investigator work, things like that.
So Ms. Jean, I guess that's when I really came to meet you all. Right. I was president of the State Firemen's Association. They said, you got to come to North Louisiana, we need a training center. And of course, when our first trip up here, it was just amazing to me, the needs that were up here. And so it kind of, all the load kind of shifted to Miss Jean to lead some legislation. And
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell us how that happened.
Well, they came to me with the idea that now they had to drive all the way to Baton Rouge for training, and that meant they had to spend the night and the expense of it. And so that was the important reason that they gave me, that we needed to do something to set up this one. And it had to be done through legislation. So that was when we went to work and drafted a bill to set up the district. We had to do that first, and that passed. And then, of course, we had to set up the funding, which we used the 2%.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
To do that with. And then, of course, once we did all of that, then, of course, LSU came in. And so that's how it became part of the LSU.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was, and I guess from that point, we did secure the funding, which in part invests, to this day, there's money that's invested into the infrastructure here every year, and then there's money that's invested into the operating costs to get an instruction. So, certainly, I mean, I'm going to say thousands of firefighters have been influenced by this facility today. It's actually, and as you all look at it, it is a different footprint than we thought it would ever be. We were just happy to have a ground they could go to and be able to use equipment. But I mean, we have, you know, classrooms. There's places for to do rookie training, overnight sleeping. I mean, it's really a great facility. And the beauty is we have acres and acres to build upon. We'll never encroach upon the public, you know, with smoke and things like that people worry about. But I guess the final piece that I want to discuss was how what I saw in you is how it just enlightened you to the fire service. And after that, you carried bills every year for the fire service. I mean, we could always count on you to hold. If you had 5 bills, we could always count on you to hold 3 in case we need them.
Right.
And we just had a lot of fun.
Right,
you know,
we did.
And we brought a lot of great things to the fire service, and you know, and it's important in that legislative process that those elected people on that floor are your leaders, because they can make things happen, and you did that, and that's why you got your fire helmet. You was named Legislator of the Year on several occasions by the Louisiana State Firemen's Association. I was proud to give you that helmet, and I remember when I gave it to you, because I don't deserve that. I said, look, if anybody deserves to wear a fire helmet, because you fought a conflagration to get this thing going, and I certainly appreciate it. And I want to make sure that the people, not only today as we're around, but when we're all gone, they need to understand, you know, what has happened today because of the great work of people who had vision. And both of you had enormous vision. We wouldn't have had this here today, because you're right. A lot of people thought that if you want training, you got to come to Baton Rouge, right. and that was the old way of thinking. And y'all, you know, went against the grain and said, we're gonna get our people training, and clearly, you know, lives have been saved because of the training people have gotten here, right. and people's property is here today because they got a rapid, professional, and expert response from their local fire department because of the training they got here.
I think a blessing for a lot of people. It was something that was sorely needed. We've seen a really good response from local fire departments, departments that had very little training because of that trek that they would have to make to Baton Rouge are now at a point where every one of their members is certified to the highest level that they intend them to get. The better we train our firefighters, the better they're able to serve their communities, the cheaper their fire insurance rates are, the better they're protected, the better service they get, and you know, their lives are made better because of it.
So I just appreciate, you know, the opportunity to sit with you all.
You can't leave Nick and the LSU, Gray Young and the LSU firemen training out
Yep.
of this. Those guys have done a tremendous job.
Yep.
They have done a
here.
great job.
That's exactly
and they
right.
have moved on from residential into commercial, industrial
Right.
Fire training. They're offering now courses that you'd have to go to Austin to,
Right.
somewhere down in there to
Right.
Texas A&M to get trained. So.
Well, again, I appreciate you all's time, and I look forward to many more meetings like this to brag about the success.